between manufacturer and service provide entrepreneur. We look at the MSME sector in India, then it constitutes around 30% GDP and around 11.75 crore units employment has been given by this sector of 6.34 crore MSMEs, and the contribution towards export of MSME is 48%. And the most important thing that most of the units of this MSME sector is belongs to micro enterprise. That is, investment is below 1 crore and turnover is below 5 crore. And I'm requesting once again on this forum that if anybody does not get his Udyam registration, then kindly do it on Udyam registration portal of Ministry of MSME. It is free of cost registration, and it requires PAN, Aadhaar and GST. And you will get your registration for new entrepreneurs within 20 to 25 days. And for existing entrepreneurs, there is a verification process in tax authorities like custom and GST and income tax authorities. Vishnu, please.
Yes, sir.
You forward 4 to 5 slides.
Sure, sir. 4 to 5 slides to forward.
And there is a establishment of export facilitation center at each MSME DI. And this export facilitation center will facilitate and provide handholding support to MSMEs and provide all facilities required for exports under one roof. Next, please. And we have strong licensing with all our export authorities like DGFT, ECGC, EPC, FIO, APIDA, and custom authorities, so that we will try to help and coordinate the MSMEs with these departments. Next, please. Next. Next. This is the figure. Total exporter is 1,85,000 in India, and out of this, registered MSME exporters is around 33,000 only. And the contribution of MSMEs in GDP towards export figure is 48%, and the value of MSME product is $147.39 billion. And Ministry of MSME targeted that the export from MSME should be up from 48% to 60%. MSMEs, they have very strong potential, subjected to they get proper support from government institutions and non-government institutions and industry associations and academic institutions. Next, please. The import substitution in MSMEs. Top import products in India are crude oil, gold, edible oil, pharma raw material. Around 70% pharma raw material has been imported by us, our pharmaceutical company, though we are leader in generics. And edible oil, around 60 to 65% requirement has been imported from the foreign countries. And self-reliance, if in electronics, defense and pharma sector, then can lead to import substitution of $186 billion. This is a huge figure. If we if we prepare in such a manner that we can do import substitution, that this will be a great help for nation. Although some sectors just like auto component, iron and steel, where is overall trade is surplus for the country, but in some subcategories there is a trade deficit, particularly with China. So we have to self-reliant more and more. And what are the strategies for reducing importing dependencies? We have to enhance our domestic production, assessment of the specific needs and issues faced by each sectors, like agriculture and rare earth. We have collaborative arrangements with other partner countries. We have to create atmosphere of innovation and ease out of technology deficiencies should be addressed in tax and duty structures, and encouraging joint venture with partner countries. These are our strategies for reducing import. And there is a defense production and export promotion policy 2020 draft has been issued by Government of India, Ministry of Defense, and it has a target to achieve around US $25 billion in aerospace and defense goods and services by 2025. And the share of domestic procurement in all over domestic defense procurement is about 60%. So we have to increase this procurement from domestic industries from 70,000 crores to 1,40,000 crores by 2025. This is in policy of defense production and export promotion policy. Size of defense industry is 80,000 crore. Out of this 80,000 crore, 63,000 crore from public sectors and 17,000 crore from private sector. And around 8,000 MSMEs will support the defense sector. And 5,000 items are to be proposed indigenized by 2025. But how? How we do these indigenizations? And there are some key points which I have prepared that indigenization portal will be developed for defense public sector under factory board with industry interface to provide development support to MSMEs, startups, industries, and import substitution. Government process should be streamlined. Public procurement order, this is a very good thing, should be made applicable for procurement preference to those items in defense sectors. So it means we have to concentrate on technology issue, innovation, governmental processes, and public procurement policy, effective public procurement policy. And our scheme is zero defect, zero effect, in which the guarantee of world-class manufacturing of world-class product. This is a very good scheme under which MSMEs will get benefit and Z certification. Through this Z certification, they can export their products to all over globe with this certification because the standards are very world-class standards. And defense PSUs also should be encouraged to move towards Industry 4.0 by using IoT, digital threading, and by blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and etc. Ordnance factory should be corporatized. This is the key point for indigenization. And the export promotion policy for defense products is a very good thing if these should be implemented. That 25% of revenue from exports should be earned by defense PSUs and ordnance factory for factory board. An export promotion cell should be set up in defense exports and defense departments so that they will assist and mobilize the exports from defense sector and MSME sectors. And Indian MNCs should be well equipped that showcase their product achievements of defense on running basis to their
the
websites.
slides are not moving ahead, sir.
And
Nilesh,
for
sir,
yes, please.
Nilesh, sir, you want me to move the slides?
You are not moving the slides. Appearing.
Sir, is it visible to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not visible to us.
Participants too.
Is it visible to all the participants?
Yes,
No,
it is
it's not visible.
We are on key points for indigenization slide.
Key points for indigenization. Everyone.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
don't see any. We don't see any slide,
Yeah.
but
Yes, it is visible. I think you are using mobile, so please just slide your mobile. Then it will appear.
It's not on mobile, yeah.
No, it is on mobile, but you have to slide.
Okay.
Slide to right side.
Okay.
Slide to
sir.
right side,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it will appear. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Nilesh, sir, please continue.
One second.
Yes, sir.
There is some technical issue. Hello, I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, good. But ये video key points for indigenization. ऋषु इस स्लाइड को आगे बढ़ाना हो तो क्या करेंगे?
सर आप मुझे बोलिए because I am hosting from here.
अच्छा तो इसको फॉरवर्ड कीजिए.
Yeah.
Next please. Next. We have already discussed this export promotion policy for defense product. Next please. This is MSME ministry support. What we can give our MSMEs: skill training in the field of entrepreneurship and exports. We can organize management development programs on exports, entrepreneurship development programs, industrial motivation campaigns, and entrepreneurship skill development program through which we can increase the capacity building of MSMEs. We have credit link capital technology upgradation support components, which comprises IPR, intellectual property rights. We will give reimbursement of trademark registration and patent and international patent reimbursement. On getting patent and domestic and international patent, we will give reimbursement. We will give procurement and marketing support, under which any MSMEs can participate on national and international level 2 times with Government of India funding. We have given around 2.5 lakhs for participation in international trade fairs and around 1.5 lakhs in metro cities for participation in national level exhibitions. Government of India has announced 25% policy. It means anything procured, then 25% must be from micro enterprise sector. And out of this 25%, there will be a reservation of 3% for women general category entrepreneur and 4% reservation for SC/ST entrepreneur. Then under this public procurement policy, you will get exemption from the payment of honest money, and there will be no form of application fees to participate in tender. This is a very good thing for MSMEs to participate in defense procurement. Then there will be delayed payment support. I urge and request all MSMEs must be registered on TREDS platform, Trade Receivable Electronic Discounting System platform, which will enable to overcome the problems of delayed payment. And apart from this trade portal, there will be a portal on MSME Samadhan portal, under which State Facilitation Council is the coordinating, and delayed payment cases will be taken care by this Facilitation Council, and MSCs will get, my MSCs will get around 3% rate of interest, 3 times of the rate of interest of the bank from their default buyer, fraudulent buyer. And we have given financial support, that 2% interest subvention for MSMEs. Those MSMEs who have taken loan for term loan or for working capital for operations, they can get 2% interest subvention, and they have to apply directly to bank. And there will be our tool rooms, around 15 tool rooms presently working in India. They will support technologically to MSMEs, especially in plastic sector, in auto component sector, and in manufacturing sector. So they can help these tool rooms. Next, please. This is the export finance as per DGFT notification, that 5% interest subvention for manufacturing MSME and 3% interest subvention for merchant exporters for pre and post shipment basis. Next, please. I have discussed my whole schemes in our one paragraph, and from this point of view, I want to close my presentation, and I am thankful to FIO for giving me opportunity to explain the MSME schemes and MSME support to MSME entrepreneurs. So, mic is over to Rishu to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation, sir. So
Sir, will we get this copy of this presentation?
definitely we'll be sharing. If
Yes.
you're not received the app, the PPT, then please send me one email. I will send you across. So thank you so much, sir, for explaining us the schemes of MSME with regard to import substitution and as well as with regard to all the MSME related schemes. So moving ahead, I would like to request Mr. Asin Panigrahi to please enlighten us with his knowledge, sir, for our today's session, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishi Madam, and Subarji, Nileshji, and all other panelists and delegates and the organizers. Namaskar to all of you. Let me start my presentation. Small presentation with me. Just I will share this one. Just. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just a minute. Yeah. So I am S.N. Panigrahi, international business consultant and corporate trainer. I have almost like 30 years plus of years of experience, and last 3 years I am into the field of consultancy and corporate training. I have done more than 150 workshops on globally on these subjects. I have published also more than 500 plus articles, and you can see in YouTube more than 100 presentations. Similar like in SlideShares also you can see my presentations. And basically electrical engineer and did some other courses and other things. That includes the prestigious certification from the PMI USA, that is a PMP certified. And I am also Lean Six Sigma Black Belt certified from the KPMG and Exemplar Global. And I have been trained in COD, Center for Organizational Development, for 3.5 years on strategy and leadership. And also I am a JED consultant and many other is there. Just here some coming. Yeah. So coming to the import substitution, that is the topic today. Of course, Neeraj ji has covered that import substitution, the definition, and of course before that Suber ji also covered that import substitution is nothing but is economic policy that advocates the replacing or eliminating or minimizing the importation of the commodity and attempt to reduce foreign dependency and encourage production in the domestic market. In fact, the origin of this concept is in the mid of the 90s, like 1940s to 1960. It was very famous, and mainly it is in the Latin American countries, especially Brazil, Argentina and Mexico and other Asian countries at that time started import substitution, because these countries mostly exporting the raw material to various advanced countries like US, for example. These all Latin American countries are depending on US by supplying the raw material form only, very raw materials only, but they are not having any value addition there. So, but most of the value added items for their own consumption are being imported. Then this thought is arised, why not we start our own manufacturing in our own country, so that employment generation can happen and GDP also, economy also can improve. So based on that thought, this import substitution concept is developed. But later in 1970 it was subsided by another concept called export-led growth. Export-led growth strategy mainly in the East Asian economies. It has started Korea, then Thailand, Vietnam, and many other those countries have started with this new concept, including in China also. So export-led growth strategy is superseded this import substitution policy. But these both have certain advantages and disadvantages. Talking about import substitution mainly in the economic crisis situations, people are countries are looking for this import substitution strategy because there is a scarcity of the foreign currency reserves, and that is one of the major reason. At the same time, the indigenous development in terms of the manufacturing, and as a result of which the generation of the employment generation. So all these things are major factors which come into the picture. So import substitution also a good strategy if it is properly used. One strategy is one benefit of it is definitely it will improve the economic growth and GDP of the indigenous country. Then employment generation as a result of the more and more industrialization, and employment generation also will happen, and as a result it reduce the poverty levels also, and it develop the robust manufacturing and manufacturing base in within this country, and import reduction will happen. As a result, the pressure on trade balance can reduce, and of course it is a good strategy to save the foreign currency and pressure on the foreign currency reserves, and decrease the dependency on other nations. That is one of the major dependency also will reduce. So self-sufficiency can be attained. So this is the self-sustenance is very important concept. Okay, there is concept about globalization. As a result, we are talking about more of liberalization, liberal economy. But at the same time, we also think out our own country's employment generation and other aspects we have to look into. So therefore, self-sufficiency also very important aspect which can be achieved through import substitution, and as a result sustainable growth can be achieved. So these are some of the advantages of the this import substitution. At the same time, there is the other side also. Most of the economists nowadays talking about export-led growth, but how far it is possible for every country is again question mark. Some countries experience and expertise and some data they have taken mainly from the Far East countries, which are the smaller countries, and some of the Western countries also, which are small countries with their own consumption is very small, but that depends mostly on their economic growth on the export. So there it is mostly possible. Yes, it is good policy, but it can't be generalized to all the countries like India, where the domestic consumption is more. It can't be same level. We can't generalize that this is also equally beneficial for the Indian economy. Of course, we have tried now more than from 1990 onwards, we are completely open now economy, and as a result of prolonged this economy openness, and certain disadvantages also happened. What are those other things we'll discuss? But before that, what the economists used to talk about the import substitution, what are the disadvantages? Of course, excess protection to the domestic industry. As a result, that creative inefficiencies will be developed within the industry because there is a protection is given to the domestic industry, and also low level of innovation, low quality or inferior to international standards, or the absolute products doesn't have sufficient technology, not exposed to international competition, and competitive disadvantage. All these things we used to call about the this import substitution. But India, like countries where the huge consumption is there, domestic consumption is equally important to meet the domestic consumption indigenously rather than depend on import. So traditionally over a period, what happened is our import dependency is increased a lot to the extent that is always creating pressure on our foreign currency reserves. So one side, then export, and equally important is to curb unnecessary imports. That's, I'm not talking about all the imports should be curbed. Like earlier regimes, what we have followed is we are restricting all types of imports, and there is licensing rods, and there is always requirement to go to the RBI to get the currency requirements, and all those things are such a restrictions are there. That is means all type of goods there is a restriction. But now we have to think it over, not a complete openness. As a openness we have already suffered a lot, so there should be a balance between this import substitution and completely liberal economy. So both has to be balanced out. One side we have the, of course, when you talk about the domestic manufacturing industry side, and import substitution is good because they may grow. The growth is possible through import substitution because there is some protection is given to them. The other side, the consumer side, consumer has a right to choice. Yes, whatever he wanted, a Chinese mobile also, yes, is good to him, is a better features or better technology, he likes it, his right has to be respected. So one side is the domestic industry, other side the consumer. So both sides we have to balance it out. And at the same time we have many other economic factors, like I told you about the forex reserves as a or balance of trade. The constraints are some pressure is there, that has to be seen into. And also we have to look into WTO regulations and various FTAs we have signed, foreign trade agreements we have signed, and those also we look into while we are considering these factors about the import substitution. Okay. So it has to be balanced out. It is not like a blanket we have to go with the liberalization, or blanket we go with import substitution. Import substitution, most of the economists tells we have experienced, that experience was very bad. But equally now it is happening that complete liberalization also made us our country become worse than even Bangladesh and Pakistan in terms of hungry rate, for example. Why? I'll tell you in the subsequent slides also why this open liberalization made to think like this or made to this position is because of the openness. Complete openness also I am not endorsing, because that is also dangerous. That is where we are at present suffering from. One side import substitution, when you are talking about check free flow of the non-essential imports, that is what we are talking about. Not that all imports, but non-essential imports we have to check, we have to make a control. At the same time, a reasonable protection has to be given to the domestic industry, because domestic, our Indian industry is not equated with any other foreign country industries. For example, in China the infrastructure is much far better than Indian infrastructure. We can't equate it. And similarly the interest rate, whatever we are talking about giving these subventions and all thing, interest subventions, but still our interests are much higher than most of the countries. For example, a bank loan, a reasonable size of the industry to get it, it requires a 12% interest rate, whereas in Japan it is less than 0.5%, in China it is 2.5%, and in US also around to that 2% range. But we can't equate those things with all other countries, because our industry is suffering from many other factors. So therefore we can't equate them with other countries industry. So therefore there is a requirement of certain reasonable protection is required. That is essential, otherwise our industry will die out. They can't compete with international players, global players. Second factor, on the economic liberalization side, of course economic liberalization is required, but encouragement to the industrial and domestic production, transfer of the technology is essential. So we transfer it and encourage the domestic production with foreign collaborations. So that is the need of the hour, not that we just import it, because it is open economy, everything we will import, then it is not a good policy. So we had to focus on also on exports. The export, the drawback, later also I will discuss that one. Export policy at present, the drawback is it's mostly import oriented, encouraging import led export policy only we are talking about, but there is a drastically a disastrous stage. Exports are not happening, but only with imports, maximum of the imports happening, but only marginal export value addition is happening, so 15%. 15% marginal export, this value addition is not enough for the economy to encourage the domestic production or value addition. So this has to be balanced out. So that is what I can basically I will cover up the two aspects. One side I will cover about this non-essential imports, how to discourage and what is the actions government is recently taken, I will discuss. The other side, the need for the focus on the domestic production. Then also I will talk about the import-led export policy, what is there, what is the drawback, and that is what we had to revamp the foreign trade policy. That aspect also I will discuss. So these are the few points I want to discuss now. Now first one we will discuss about non-essential imports. How much is coming to India, we will let us understand, then it is an eye-opener. Whether these are all required to flood into the Indian market, thereby killing our own industry, we have to think it over. So we talk more of the liberal, but liberals, let them discuss and debate on this aspect, why we want this furniture so that our carpenters will go unemployed, why we will kites of the Chinese so that small players who are manufacturing, household people are manufacturing, selling, as a result they are surviving through that, and they are now gone on the road. And these aspects we have to think of. Many other things I discuss in the subsequent slides, but the fact is that non-essential imports, which are not at all essential, we can check and curb. That will strengthen our economy, and industrial base also, manufacturing also can happen, and employed generation can happen. So we are importing from China itself almost like 14% of our total imports. If we take out the non-oil and non-gold imports, then it raises to 20%, which is a huge amount, almost like $4 trillion a year we are importing from China alone. So this is the very drastic. Our economy is less than $3 trillion, but
So
we are
4 trillion INR, right?
sorry, INR. This INR 4 trillion rupees we are importing from China alone. So that is a very big amount of this Chinese imports, which need to be curbed. Means almost 20% of our total imports, excluding this on oil and gold, then it is 20%, which is a big amount. Then import from China, again, if you see, these are the major items which we are depending on China. Over a period, the dependency is increased heavily. Once upon a time, for example, India is very comfortable in the level of API manufacture, means raw material for pharmaceuticals, our medicines. But now we are 68% of the APIs for the pharmaceutical industry is imported from China. If the China stops for what are the reasons, because tensions are there on the border, then our pharmaceutical industry will be in a doldrum, and this become a major issue now. We have to think it of, means 68% we are depending on China. And similarly, basic chemicals also 60%. Electrical and electronic equipments and other gadgets, we are depending on 60% of the total imports coming from China only. And bicycles 50%. Like many other items, if you see organic chemicals, then capital goods, these are all the statistics talks about. So as a result, we are surrendering our domestic market to overseas, and Indian manufacturers are suffering and they are dying out. Despite various schemes and various promotions from the MSME and the Government of India, they are trying to push forward, but the industry is not able to survive because the demand is not for them. The demand is going for the overseas. People are going to the overseas to buy, because our import policy is also very convergent and easy for them to import at cheaper prices, but Indian manufacturers are not able to sustain to that level. So of course government is taken in recent times various measures. Of course it is laudable, at least at last, very lately of course it is realized that the equal amount of means weightage has to be given for the import substitution. We are giving the more of the weightage for the export promotions. As a result, almost 90% of values of the exports are imported again. Means we are import dependent for the exports. So that thought we have to take out. Now we have to make indigenous made export led growth, not import led export growth. So in this direction, many of the actions are being taken. Some of them we will discuss. For the import substitution, what is there, they are taken the measures. Broadly, under the WTO purview only, there are two aspects are there. One is tariff related, another non-tariff related measures. One is the tariff related measures are, these are the tariffs, various measures are there like customs duty, then additional duty, anti-dumping duty, safeguard duty, anti-subsidy duty, like that various measures are there related to tariff. Means basically the customs duty can be increased to some extent, because also we are WTO signatory. We can't increase the import duty as we like, but there is a bound rates are there. Based on the bound rates only, we can't exceed the bound rate. So there is a preferential rate and there is a bound rate. And preferential rate, which of the countries we have the preferential treatment we has given to them, we have to maintain that preferential rates, and other countries of course we can increase to bound rate. So that is as per the WTO norms, and therefore we have more of the constraint is there for increasing the customs duty, basic customs duty. The other factor is from China and many other countries, there is a dumping is there, mainly from the China. Many of the commodities are being dumped at very much lower the price of the existing prices of China. So those are the dumped into the domestic market, our Indian market. So therefore government also time to time taking the actions, but anti-dumping duty, this process is very lengthy process, almost like takes 2 years minimum to more than 2 years, like 3 years like that. But during this 2-3 years period, that MSMEs or other Indian manufacturers may die out. In such case, what happened, once that availability is not there in Indian market, the monopoly situation may develop from the overseas. We depends more and more now for the overseas only, because of these are the reasons. The short time dumping happens, but between this the breathing time is not there for this our industry to cope up, so they are dying out. Once they goes out of the scene, then our dependency on imports are further increasing. As a result, API is a finer case. API once upon time we are very comfortable. Our indigenous manufacturing was there, but over a period we are surrendered to China. Now almost like 68% we are importing from China only. Similarly, chemicals also. So that is the situation happening. But tariffs are made, but there is a limitation. We can't go with much of this aspect. Then there is a non-tariff related measures also there. Those non-tariff related measures, they are also good measures. Now most of the countries, in fact, European countries are mostly following these measures for our agriculture products. So sanitary, phytosanitary, and various technical barriers like quality related, pre-shipment inspections or trade protective measures, like the many things they are starting these controls. Though again these are within the purview of the WTO. And recently Government of India also made the rules of origin. Some new rules are being formulated, especially targeting to control or check the FTA imports. Means we have agreements with some countries for free trade agreements, but in violation of that free trade agreements, some of the imports are been happening from the FTA partners, but those are not originating from the FTA partner, but some other country. Mainly from again China is one of the factor. So to control these things, now Government of India has taken a new rules, that rules of origin is new rules are being framed. Then this import tariff measures we have taken in the past. For example, many measures are taken for increasing the rates. especially CCTVs, air conditioners, agrochemicals, footwears, like that many of these items, furnitures also, we have increased the basic custom duty, so that we can control to some extent the unwanted or non-essential imports. And of course, so this import strategy, this strategy of means restricting the imports through this customs duty provisions or increasing the custom duty, not proving to be effective. One of the reason is Chinese are very unbelievable and unethical practices they starts, and the prices, for example, mobile. Every time the mobiles mostly coming from the China at a much cheaper price, because the price of the market rate is, for example, is 20,000 for a new mobile. For example, a new model is introduced, 20,000 they are selling, but they declare to the customs it is 10,000 only. Even though customs duty is increased to 25%, that doesn't matter anything, because there is making such misdeclarations. To control it, there is a mechanisms are there in the customs also, but customs can't have a control, because the new models, when it's coming every 3 months, every 2 months, there is a new model is coming. For that, past data is not available, so that can't be controlled. So this import restrictions through duty has not become effective. The other one is non-tariff measures. Now, of course, government is taking very seriously these measures, and already they have taken some of the measures, like 371 items they identified for the non-technical. Out of that, 111 are from the chemical and petrochemicals, and 68 items are from the heavy industries, and 62 from the electronic and information technology, then 61 from the industry department, and steel there are 44 items, then telecom there is 25 items. These 371 items they are identified, so that strict this quality standards or BIS norms has to be framed. So already some are there, they are already done, and some others also they are in the process, so that they want to control through non-tariff measures. And of course, we have to keep in mind one thing, that whenever the quality standards we are formulating, that will be equally applicable for Indian industry also. Indian industry, Indian manufacturer also has to follow these standards. It's not like only for the import, but also equally applicable for the domestic industry also. Therefore, we also have to cope up, that our MSME also has to cope up with the new standards. That is why the quality requirements. So already BIS taken steps. Already they have made some of the measures they have taken. Some of the statistics I am showing to you here. So these mandatory certification provisions they are making for the imports, and equally this is applicable, again I am repeating, equally applicable for the domestic industry also. And one more thing is the compulsory registration scheme. Of course, it is from the 2012 it is available, but recent time it is very strengthened further to restrict mostly this electronic goods. So it has to be routed through BIS certification, means this compulsory registration is required. Only those registered traders or the importers can import, otherwise they can't import. So there is one of the restrictions they made it, so that to restrict flooding of the imported electronic goods. If we see our statistics of the imports over a period of time, apart from the oil, that crude oil and gold, these two taken out, then most of the next category is coming to electronic goods. So over a period of time, we are excessively depending on the imports, mainly from the China. So therefore, to control it, these are the measures being taken. There is a compulsory registration scheme is one of them. And recent time, of course, Nilesh ji has talked to also. We are heavily depending on defense imports also. Traditionally, even small items also which are required, we are depending on the import. We are importing. Now, as a measure of the our Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call for the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So towards this end, now they have identified 101 defense items, mostly artillery guns, assault rifles, converts, sonar systems, transport aircraft, ammunitions, radars, and like that many of the items they identified which can be manufactured in India. So this scheme is there within next like 7 years up to say 2025. They want to take majority of these items from the domestic market, and gradually they want to stop these items from importing. So this is a good measure. There is an opportunity is created for the domestic market for the defense sector, because defense sector is one of the major importer of the goods. And similarly, recently one example I am showing to you, and their agreement has been signed, contracts have been signed for various defense related contracts. One is went to this Bharat Earth Movers for the vehicles, and Tata Power and Larsen L&T also got the contracts as a part of this self defense, means self reliance on the defense side. Okay. Otherwise, these earlier days it is going for the import. Always we are calling for the import tenders and contracts, but now these opportunities create for the domestic market also, so that once these Tatas or L&T or BEML, these are manufacturing, supplying to the defense, they also require lot of inputs from the MSME sector. So that is why the MSME sector, the manufacturing also can improve in Indian market, India itself. And the other one is defense canteen. Recent, of course, notification only 4 days back or 5 days back it is given, that notification. As per this, means most of the items which are being imported and sold in this canteen, defense canteens, that canteen stores department, for the operation of the defense personnel, these are the stores available. At there the defense personnel can get the items at the concessional rates or discounted rates. And here also most of the items are coming from abroad. Some of the items like which are not essentially required, like toilet brushes, diapers, vacuum cleaners, electric kettles, sandwich toasters, laptops, and most importantly is foreign liquor. And these liquors and foreign goods also, the fact is that defense, I salute the warriors who are fighting for us and protecting us and the borders. We salute them. I respect them. They have the right to have these facilities, but it is been misused. It is not been mostly consumed by the defense people or defense personnel and their families, but these been sold out to the outside the market. And this is the biggest scam also happening. If you know any of the defense person, for example, on his name you can purchase and you can bring out from the stores at concessional rates. That is why the foreign liquor is maximum famous for this. From the stores of the defense, non-defense people getting these materials. There is a big gangs are there, and scam also happening. So government is now want to stop these things. So this is a good measure that domestic manufacturers, domestic brands can enter into that market. That gap can be filled by the domestic market, domestic manufacturing items, so that it can increase the indigenous manufacturing. And other side also, recently, of course, one of the this non-renewable energy forum, our Prime Minister was talking, and he's told that the use of 11 million smart LED street lamps are being installed over a 6 years period, and that is what he has given the statistics. As a result of which, energy saving happened of 60 million units per year. And this estimated gas is also 4.5 crores tons of the carbon dioxide emissions also means this pollution related aspects also come down. And monetary savings 24,000 crores happening. Why I am talking this aspect only because it is come day before yesterday to me only, because he was talking at one of the forum. And why I am talking it, this is also one of the import substitution. More and more we shift over to the solar and renewable energy, then more and more dependency on fossil fuels can come down. Once the because all the fossil fuels energy requirements we are meeting from the abroad only, imports only, either if it is crude oil or coal also. Indian coal is not sufficient, not good quality, so mostly coal also we are importing, and we are depending on crude and coal. And once we shift this requirement, energy requirements from the fossil energy requirements to non-fossil related, then renewable energy, then definitely that import substitution can happen. Within India, for example, solar energy, now lot of energy generation is happening. And next slide I am showing that we have targeted to improve the solar generation. That's just I'll show you where is that solar generation. Yeah, means we want to improve, therefore indigenously the solar generation also can increase. We dependence on the fossil fuels will come down, therefore imports will come down, and other side indigenously that solar generation can improve. So that is the target, that is why I am talking. And again, in the solar generation, over a period of time, we don't have the technology, or we don't have the sufficient of the solar panel manufacturing capacity. As a result, here also we are depending on the imports, and most of the imports, like 25 to 20 to 25% of the means, even though duty is levied, but mostly we are depending on China only. Chinese imports are coming, and the next one is Vietnam also. So we are depending on imports. To curb this import, now the rates and duty rates have been increased. Some restrictions also been placed, so that indigenous manufacturing can take place. That is what the that import substitution through this energy consumption also possible. Then of course government related many other institutions or organizations like BSNL, MTNL also now avoiding the Chinese equipments. Earlier they are only depending on the Chinese equipments, and now they are stopping, and now they are going for the indigenous. Therefore import substitution is one of the example from the government side. What are the measures are being taken? And similarly, like the ban of the power equipments also. Most of the power equipments, we are importing 71,000 crores power equipments, and out of that almost 21,000 crores are from the China, and these we are minimizing now, almost like stopping now. So this is another example of the import substitution from the government measures what government is taken in recent times. And now the rules of origin also they made it to check misuse of the FTA provisions. FTA provisions are good because it's a bilateral or multilateral country, these provisions for free trade agreements, so that both the parties, means parties involved in the agreements, all are will be benefiting. But of the late we have found that these provisions are being misused, because suppose we have an agreement with Sri Lanka, for example, but the items coming from other countries to Sri Lanka without having enough manufacturing, enough value addition as happening, that is being exported to India, taking the advantage of the duty concessions. So to curb this one, now stricter rules are being introduced. That is what the new rules of origin being introduced. So that is what the recent provision in August only they started these provisions, and it is from the 21st September. It is in effective date is 21st September 2020. So through this also lot of means misused items, means it is wrong entry items can be curbed. And of course from the government side many recent provisions they made. One of them from the DGFT side. DGFT, for example, there is a provision in the foreign trade policy. Of course, for this imports and export, there is a provision. There are 4 provisions are there. In fact, that is whether the items are freely allowed or not. the other one is restricted item, then prohibited and canalized. And these provisions nowadays government is taking very seriously and doing very effectively utilizing. For example, very recent few days back only, you must have read in newspapers also, ACs with refrigerant is prohibited now. Earlier it was there in a freely imported item, means without any restriction, without any requirement of license or any approvals, it was freely importable, but now they put into the prohibited items. Similarly, many of the items they free to restricted they made. For example, these tires, hydraulic tires, they made it. Then they made for the palm oil that they made. Then recent time many other things also, like color televisions also they made it. So these are the some of the examples that they are restricting through these provisions, which are earlier freely allowed, now they are putting into the restricted items or prohibitions. So as a result, the imports are coming down. So that gap, that import what has been coming down, but demand is there, therefore that gap is there, that gap can be filled through domestic manufacturing. So that is the import substitution, promote the domestic promotion of the industries. Then the domestic industry has to get the fair play through naturally that discouraging imports, giving an opportunity to the domestic industry so that we can fill the gap, because the demand is always there for Indian market, huge domestic market is there. Then also recently one steps have been taken that 38 drugs are being identified, which are raw material for the manufacture of the finished goods, pharmaceutical medicines. So those things are now identified. Now those things they want to manufacture within India. Already some provisions are being made so that special units are being made for manufacturing these of the facilities. And also not only the crude oil, in fact if you see most of the other items also we are mostly traditionally import dependent. One example I will tell you, edible oils. Of course, why I am telling this edible oil is from MP. In fact, there is a soya bean where the revolution has come some 2 decades back or 3 decades back. A great revolution like it has come. Lot of manufacturing facilities have happened, but all of a sudden it is slowed down. The import edible oils, I tell you, edible oils almost like our 60% of our requirement is been imported. We have the total country requirement is 25 million tons, out of which only 10.5 million tons we are able to produce domestically, but all others almost 60% we are getting from import. And this is very sad situation, because we have a huge agriculture land and topological our facility means ecological also it is very fertile for manufacture of the agriculture generation of the most of the oil seeds, but we are not giving thought, we are simply depending on the imports. So this is one final example for the import substitution. Huge demand is there, we are not able to cater to the demand. Why not we encourage that one? This has multiple advantages. One is agriculture based, so that agriculture will improve. Second is after the agriculture, the processing happens, so that manufacturing happens within India. So these two at a time can happen, agriculture growth and industrial growth. Both can happen if it focus on this one area is edible oils. And the second one, the pulses. Pulses also our production is less, and traditionally we are depending on imports. Now for example approximately 3 million tons imported pulses needed to have the shortfall. Every year after year we have the shortfall, and every year we are importing traditionally from the beginning of the from the Independence Day onwards also, if you see, pulses mostly been imported. And why not we thought of this import substitution? pulses, so that again it is a two benefits. One side the agriculture can improve, the other side is industry can improve. Similarly, fertilizers. Fertilizer huge imports have been happening. You see, 528 billion dollar means the rupees of the imports happening annually. So why not we also focus on this? If it is not chemicals, why not we make bio fertilizers a big focus, so that it will definitely substitute the import of the chemical fertilizers. And now the trend worldwide is going towards the bio fertilizers only. So organic food generation is required. For organic, the chemical fertilizers are not applicable, not allowed. So once we are going to that trend, why not to develop within our industry that biofertilizers? So this is become a big import substitution category. So that is these are the three my examples, for example, giving for this import substitution, and many things of course we can think like this. Then coming to these provisions, that we have traditionally have a concept of the export promotion. And export promotion, our economists and great economists, in fact, they have suggesting that import-led export promotion. Import-led export promotion, as a result, we are importing more, but only with 15% or so the value addition we are exporting, and we are happy with that. For that, many of the schemes are there, many benefits are being given to them, but we are not thinking of the domestic domestic potential. We are discouraging the domestic procurement and encouraging the export and this import in the name of export promotion. But this is a lopsided promotional scheme. I strongly condemn this type of scheme from the beginning. In fact, for the last 2 decades, I am fighting for this. Our foreign trade policy, which is called as a Videshi policy, means we are Videshi dependent, not like foreign means not Indian way. It's a Videshi dependent policy. So I want to always this condemning this policy for the quite 2 decades. I am fighting for this. Make indigenous development, means this content, indigenous content should be there in our export, not import content. So this export-led growth is not equal to import-led exports. And what is it exactly is strong manufacturing base when you create, that will naturally promote your exports. You need not make much of the export promotion. Lot of funds or money is been wasted, like I call it wasted in various promotion schemes. We are wasting the money depending on the imports. Means directly the money is going to the foreign countries. We are not encouraging the domestic manufacturing. If we focus the other way, encouraging the strong manufacturing base within India, and that will definitely stimulates this export growth also. At present policy, the export promotion is import promotion actually. I call it import promotion schemes. All the schemes, whatever you talk about, for example, the MEI scheme is completely import promotion scheme only. Second, the advance authorization. It is 99% people who have been taken the advance authorization from DGFT going for import only. But we call it an export promotion scheme. How it is an export promotion scheme? It is really an import promotion scheme. We are import promotion only, foreign buyers only, foreign suppliers only. We are importing. Means we are encouraging, not the domestic suppliers. So where is the equality? Where is the equal treatment and opportunities given to the domestic players? So domestic players at a disadvantage, but import only happening. So now we have renamed as import substitution. We are calling about. Why we call import substitution now? Wake up to change our mindset. We have to change our mindset to go to the indigenous means content should be there in our export, not the import content. So thousands crores we are spending for export promotion, but I call it import promotion. So this mindset, if it changed, definitely import substitution can happen, that our indigenous industry can glorify and it will go up. Otherwise, like in pharmaceutical industry, same situation happening. 68% of the raw materials they are importing, and they call their leading exporter in the world. Pharmaceutical exports are leading exporters in the world. We India were proud, but what is the value addition they are making? After the royalty and other things take out, what is the benefit you are getting? We are mostly import dependent, and as a result of these import policies, I call it this, not export policies but import policies, our indigenous industry is dying out. Yes, slowly we have given the poison them, and they are make to die. And other side we are talking the promotion of the MSMEs, but already we made to them to die because of our consistently wrong policies for decades together, by discouraging the import, means domestic and procurement for our exports. Deemed export provision is there, but unfortunately, if you take the statistics also from the DGFT or any of these sites, if you take the statistics for the exports, mostly 90% or 99% happening for the import only. Deemed exports are very minuscule, very small amount happening, because there is no attractiveness in the deemed exports. Procuring from the domestic market, there is no attractiveness. Import is more attractiveness, because all the duties, taxes will be exempted, including anti-dumping duty also been exempted when you import under advance authorization. Anti-subsidy duty also been exempted. But if you procure from the domestic market, there is no much of benefit. In fact, it is like a punishment they make it. For example, that if you procure, you are an advance license holder, if you want to procure from the domestic market, from the domestic supplier, that is treated as a deemed export. And once the domestic suppliers make the supplies to the advance authorization holder, they have to pay the GST. First they have to pay, then they have to claim after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, beggars like that to pay. That is on the mercy, they have to stay with getting the refund of the GST whatever they paid. But if you import, at the first instance itself is exempted. And also another factor is, you can import and the export obligation is 18 months. Means most of the people what they do is they import duty free and enjoy this material with selling into domestic market, the imported material without payment of the duty, and they are making the manufactured goods and selling in the domestic market leisurely. In 18 months period they are selling it to, they are making export. Means that is more attractive. But domestic, there is a discouragement. So therefore, once we talk about import substitution, let us think of revamping our export promotion policy. It is at present is import promotion policy. We have to revamp into export promotion policy, realistic in the real term. So our export promotion schemes, and that is what I am talking about. It has need to be revamped. A fresh look has to be done. Then the other aspect I talked, one I talked about import substitution, some of the import substitution measures, what the government is taken, tariff measures, non-tariff measures, and other thing I talked to you. And what are the lopsided, our export promotion scheme I talked to you, because these are both are import substitution factors. And now I am talking about nationalism. Some examples I have given. Of course, our Narendra Modi has introduced this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. I mean, that is this self-reliance. That is the true nationalism. It is not a protectionism, but it is a nationalism. He has made a call, and of course, Neelaj ji also told many things about this. I am not talking this one, but he has given 5 pillars, a clear visionary leader. And he has talked about, one side is we have the good advantage, our strength is our land, our labor, our liquidity, our laws. These are our strengths. Based on this strength, we have the 5 pillars. That is our economy. A robust economy is there, means domestic demand is there, that is the biggest demand, and we are the world 5th largest economy, no doubt on it. Even our corona is little bit slowed down our progress, but again it will jump back with a V curve. Then infrastructure, of course, needs our, means there is a demand is there for the infrastructure investments again. Then systems related, yes, we are much better compared to like China like countries. And then demography, then demand other side. So on these 5 pillars, that self-reliance he has been dreamed of, and that is what he has introduced the policies. Subsequently, Nirmala Sitaramji in 5 various schemes, they have promoted many things. So that is, I'm not talking about again the Atmanirbhar. But this aspect why I'm talking is nationalism is every means Indian citizen, every one of us have the responsibility towards our nation. This is what minimizing or non-using the, I'm not talking about a boycott, but minimize wherever possible. If you want to purchase a mobile, for example, a Chinese mobile, because it has many features, many high technology, maybe you may purchase, but why you are still purchase the covers or the this also mobile covers also from China? Can't we manufacture these things? So this is the thing. This is what I'm talking to make you wake up. So in the true nationalism, some of the industries also come forward, and the industry associations have come forward. They are trying to means restrict the Chinese import. Of course, even though there is many calls are there, recent time if you see the trend in the customs houses, most of the imports happening because of the Dasara, Diwali, the festive season, the imports are coming from the foreign countries. And also we are making most of the purchases nowadays through e-commerce. And e-commerce, we don't know from which origin, though the government is insisting the e-commerce players to mention about the origin of the product, but they are not mentioning, and we are importing, means we are procuring from the e-commerce goods, and we don't know which are the origin, most of them again coming from the China. And that is what we are encouraging through these policies also, Chinese products. So let us be cautious before we are making any purchases. Let us have a look which is the origin of the material. And of course, this federation has come forward for this minimizing the import dependency mainly from the China. And the other organization also, this is the Confederation of All India Traders. They also identify 40,000 association there, means items are there, those means association members are there, and they also made this boycott of 3,000 Chinese products. And of course, so GSW group also come forward for they want to reduce the import dependency to zero within next 24 months. And followed by Hero Cycles also scrap the deal of 9,900 crores, that deal they have with China, that deal they have cancelled. And now, as a true citizen, as a you and me, let us think over it. There is my last slide, last call for the nation. As a true citizen, let us think it over. Why dragon kites in the Indian skies? Why we import? Can't we avoid it? Similarly, why Indian Diwali needs Chinese crackers and lights? Similarly, why we pray the Indian means idols manufactured in China? Means this is the Hindu gods and goddesses we are praying, coming from the China manufactured. Can't we have? Don't have that skilled artists are not there. And similarly, the diyas, candles, agarbattis. Agarbatti, of course, recently after a good fight with me, I have made for last 5-6 years fighting for agarbattis. Why we import agarbattis from China? Recently, of course, they are restricted. So that is a good news. But traditionally, we are doing this import only. The agarbatti business is 4,000 crore market, and mainly this household means employees, means ladies are being involved in this one. Women is involved in this manufacturing. They lost the jobs. So we call one side the MSME promotion, but other side we are deliberately killed these small manufacturers or household manufacturers. Kites, for example, mostly it is happening in the household only. They are being sold to for their own survival, but we are kicked under a stomach, and we have started importing crazily from China. So similarly, entry of Chinese Rakhi. Why we will take this means our Indian brother and sister relation? How the Chinese entry? The Rakhi also we can't manufacture, we import. Shameful. Then again the toys, of course, need not tell, 85% of the toys are importing. Of course, recently some measures are taken to stop that imports. Some restrictions are being made, but otherwise 85% of the Indian toys are being coming from the China. Similarly, the tricolor, when now the August 15th or January 26th comes nearby 1 month, 2 months before, if we see all the tricolors import from the China, shameful. Then again, Chinese imports support the pharmaceutical industry. For example, I told you 68% of the raw materials now we are depending on China only. Earlier we have a very comfortable position. Now dependence is increased a lot because of lopsided policy of mainly the export promotion policy. I am talking to it, because most of our pharmaceuticals have been getting exported, and they started import from the China, and China dependence is increased. The small players within India, they're gone and they're died out. So as the Indians, of course, we have a crazy for the anything foreign is crazy for us. So the Chinese mania. So my thought is, lastly, if we want to really in the true nationalism, true spirit of the nationalism, as far as possible, small items try to avoid from Chinese product. Thanks a lot. With this, I want to conclude. And more and more my details can be got in the YouTube. This is my YouTube channel. More than almost like now 100 channel topics, various topics is there, various presentations, and you can contact me. This is my contact details. Thanks a lot. Thanks for these organizers. Thanks for these panelists and other delegates. Thanks to all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for
madam.
such a wonderful presentation. And I urge to all my participants that Diwali is coming. So happy Diwali well in advance to all our participants and the panelists. And just a humble request from on behalf of FIO that please don't get trapped yourself in the decorative items what China is offering to us. I just wanted to remind to all my participants that in early years when we were kids, we used to play with the toys made up of wood. So all the carpenters were having the employment and bread butter. Actually, not an employment; they are getting bread butter out of those toys. But these days, we are going for the that remote car and the video games, which entirely coming from China, and they are actually sourcing the material from our generation, our tradition. That okay, they are using that crafted vehicle, so we can made it in the electronic way. So they are just using our concept, and they are like putting the technology in that and reselling that to us. So our tradition is going to them and making money for them. So I urge to all my fellow exporters to please go for the Indian product. And recently we have got the news that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he had came up with the concept that we are not going to use the Chinese product on this Diwali. He urged to all the Indians. So same I am urging on behalf of FIO that please use the Indian products. No, now the floor is open for all our participants to please, you can raise your question by raising your hand. So one by one, we can take up your questions. Is there any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, sir, you can please ask.
Okay, my name is Ashwin Shah. I am from Crossmark Innovations. We are manufacturing, we are a small scale unit engaged in manufacture of textile machineries in Ahmedabad. We have a team of technocrats learned from US and other countries. They also used to work with Tesla, and we have a plan to develop some machines which are 100% import substitutes. The market share of this imported item is about $100 million in India. No one is manufacturing these items. They are being imported from China and from Europe. So, with a view to develop this machine, we wanted to import very few small parts. So we imported some parts worth about $6,000 from China through FedEx courier. The goods landed up at Sahar Airport, Mumbai, and then the custom officer started asking a lot of questions, and they said that the item that we have imported, the item that is not a true one, it is a different one. Means we had imported diodes, and they said this is not a diode. It looks like it is a terminal. It looks like because there is a small cable going, so it looks a terminal. So you are misdeclaring the item. Then we gave all the proofs related to this item, and they did not believe in it. Then they asked that you go get the certificate from BIS. We approached BIS, and BIS replied it is not, it doesn't cover under them. They asked us to go to somewhere else. They also never replied. And then the goods were lying there for about 8 weeks. And after too much of follow-up through FedEx, they said that okay, you give us in writing on your letterhead that you will not raise any claim, you will not pay the duty under protest, and whatever we ask, you will pay. So we have to give in writing because it already 7 weeks already had passed. So we ended up paying about 50,000 rupees fine and penalty, and after 8 weeks we got the material, one box.
So you
when we
call after
opened the
one hour.
material, only the day before yesterday, we saw that out of 5 items in that box, only one box had an item. All other remaining 4 boxes were completely empty. So I don't know. One thing is that we get kind of a harassment from customs because they don't want to believe us despite providing all the necessary proofs. And they levy a charge on us that we are, hiding the duty like this. So we don't want any kind of benefits from, like MSME related benefits. We only want to develop the things on our own. We get frustrated when we get such treatment from Indian customs. We have given all these data to you, madam.
Yes, sir. I have received your mail and we'll be taking up this matter. For meanwhile, I would like to request Mr. Asin Panigrahi if he can guide him.
Okay. Okay, good. In fact, you may be genuine, I have no doubt. But at the same time, there are many people misdeclaring and a lot of items coming with misdeclarations, mainly from the China. So therefore, the customs are now extra conscious and cautious about the import of the mainly these electronic goods and other things. Mainly in the electronic goods, because the identity proper descriptions are not been made, or the items are not properly identified, and every time, like I told you, the mobiles, new mobiles are coming, new sets are coming, for that these customs don't have the enough of the data, and even though that is a 30,000 and they're declaring 10,000, like that declaration, misdeclarations happening. Therefore, the customs have the right, because they are now extra cautious about the Chinese import, because many such instances happen. Therefore, of course, they have the right to do this, all the inspections and all things, and ask the customs, of course, which are the authority where it has to be inspected. They have the right to reply to you also, and you ask them, that will give you, and with that you can go. The second aspect, if you are feeling that it is taking much of the delay, provisional assessment provision also there. You can opt for the provisional assessment. As per the what are the therefore you have to execute the bond, and you can clear the goods. Later, of course, that assessment can be cleared with proper inspection and proper that, for example, it is going to the lab. There it will be inspected. Then it will be clarified which are the classification, which are the assessable values, and all things can be clarified. Then it can be cleared. So before that, I request you to go with provisional assessment instead of unnecessarily in the customs. If you are staying uncleared, then lot of demurrages, detentions, many things will come. So
Yes,
also once you have filed the bill of entry, what I thought is already you have filed the bill of entry, so you not paid the custom duty. On that, interest also will be applicable.
Yes, we paid everything. We paid.
Everything okay, but it's not clear, na sir. So therefore, you opt for the provisional assessment. With the provisional assessment, you go through. Then later you can submit all your submissions with the technical data and all things. You can submit to prove your contention, so that it can be done. But otherwise, now it is staying with the customs. Then unnecessarily extra cost will be to your account.
Okay,
to your
sir.
account.
Yes, sir. Actually, you see, they asked us to give in writing that you will not pay the duty under protest. Okay. So we had no other option but to give, because already time was passing. So 6 weeks after that, they gave us this type of reply. So we had no other option, because the value of the material was only $6,000, but they were very vital components for us. They were diodes, electronic diodes, and other things. But we had to give in writing that. Pardon me, sir.
Ashwin, you are from which place?
I am from Ahmedabad.
You are from Ahmedabad. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You approach your CHA. Otherwise, you off the line. You can talk to me. I will give some tips how to go about.
Okay, sir. Because you see, they suggested that you get a certificate from BIS. We wrote to BIS and we also called them and spoke to them, but they said it doesn't. You go to some other agency, you know. Then we wrote to other agencies. They suggested, and they never replied. We keep on writing, but there was no reply.
Let us talk offline, sir.
Okay.
You must have my number. So
yeah, I will
suggest you how to go about.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Ashwin sir.
Thank you.
And rest assured, we will be taking up your matter with head office, and definitely will come back to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. If anyone is having any question, they can please ask their question by raising their hand in the chat box. Nilesh sir, I think there is no question. So with your permission, with Panigrahi sir permission, can we close this meeting, sir?
And
Yes,
Nilesh,
yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So once again, thank you so much to all my participants, and keep participating in our coming events and making it successful. Thank you so much. Happy Diwali well in advance to all of you. And as I urge to all, please go national. Please use the national products. And this is the topic of our today's event, today's seminar, that go for the import substitution rather than going for the product which has been imported from the other country, and our hard earnings are going to the other country for the development of the other nation rather than the Indian nation. So thank you so much once again. And this meeting stands and for the PPTs, I shall surely send to all my participants once it will be received from our speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.